What a game. What a second half from Texas Tech and Christian Anderson. This was insane to watch, and I will remove the UNC blue tinted glasses. Small celebration when Duke lost to see them lose. It's always good. But really, tonight is about Texas Tech. I think it just shows a ton of grit, a ton of character. These two star players of Toppin and Anderson, I mean, they are one of the best 1-2 punch in the country because for the most part this season, they haven't gotten anything else from anybody else. Now, Lawan Watts, which is someone we've talked about on this channel, who needed to step up. Oh, is he really good in the almost 30 minutes he played? But he fouled out with about 12 minutes left to go. 20 points, 10 of 17 from the field, even though he was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. Again, he only played 27 minutes. Brian got hurt, starter. He was only in there for 3 minutes tonight. And Horner off the bench foul. So it's just one of those crazy games of college basketball that you just have to enjoy. Unless you are a Duke fan, you're probably gutted. But at the same time, you've put so much in the bank, you're kind of realizing that one of those games is going to happen. I was wrong. I thought y'all had a chance to run the table the longest outside of Arizona, Iowa State, Michigan, just because the way the schedule was set up. Your game was in the beloved Duke North in Madison Square Garden, and you still couldn't get it done. Sorry, a little tongue in cheek there. But yeah, Texas Tech wins by 1, 82-81, trailed by 17 in the second half. A major response from Anderson. Toppin was really good again tonight. 19 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Anderson, 27 points of 9 of 14, 5 of 9 from 3. And some of those step backs and off the dribble threes, they were so pure. And it's just when somebody in basketball gets it going and they're making all their shots like that, it is just so fun to watch. And then you add the element of Madison Square Garden on top of it. And then you add the element of Texas Tech easily could have folded. Many people probably wouldn't have blamed them, but they just responded. They just fought back. And I think it just puts another feather in the cap for Grant, who's somewhat of a new coach at the big level. He's been a coach around for a while, has had a ton of success, obviously. And Texas Tech went on the Elite Eight run last year, losing to Florida in a game that they led with about 50 seconds left. So it was just, again, showing Texas Tech has the ability to beat really good basketball teams. And that's what Duke is. Duke is a really good basketball team. It's going to be a team in contention for the Final Four this year. This doesn't really change my viewpoint on them. I think it does show that when you have a player like Toppin and you have a guy like Anderson, if you can put two players on the court like that, you're going to have a chance in a lot of games, right? It's just where there's two absolute firepowers. And if you can get a third person to come along, and tonight, even though it was only for 27 minutes and they played without Watts for the last 10, 12 minutes of that game, he gave you 20 points and was very, very like you need. And obviously, in a 1 point game, you need every single point. So shout out to Texas Tech. As for Duke tonight, it wasn't even that they necessarily played bad. Hit 10 3-pointers. They didn't shoot free throws well. They missed 12 free throws. So if you are going to knock them on something, that's obviously going to be the one that you're going to point to. But it wasn't like Tech was that much better. They were 11 for 17, 65%. Duke 17 for 29 at 59%. Duke made 10 threes to Tech 7. Duke shot 53% from the floor. Rebound battle went in favor of Tech, but only by 1, 30-29. Duke had 15 assists, 11 turnovers for both teams. I mean, in essence, it was a really even game, and that's what the scorebook says. But if you watched it, you understood how much of an effort it took from Tech to not only come back from down 17, they were still trailing by 10 at halftime. And so for them to fall down to 17, fight all the way back and regain that lead, and I still felt like I was like, Duke's going to find a way to win this. Whenever Kaminia hit that three in the corner, I just felt like Duke was still going to find a way to win, but wouldn't answer. And even though Anderson went 1 for 2 down the stretch at the end there, Duke got almost, I thought, a good shot. Obviously, he didn't even get the ball off before the buzzer went, so it wouldn't have counted even if it did go in. You got to be a lot quicker in that situation. And maybe those 0.3 of a second, those 0.3 of a second that came off the clock after they reviewed it actually hurt Scheyer, obviously, in the end there. But all in all, though, Tech, really good win. Duke, I still think they're a Final Four team. Tech, this is huge for this group going into Big 12 play, coming off the loss to Arkansas, coming off the beatdown that they've taken earlier this season as well. It's just it's a huge boost for them. And my goodness, the Big 12 is going to be an absolute scene between BYU, Houston, Texas Tech. Even Kansas might start playing in that. And then obviously the team with Arizona and having Iowa State, two teams in the top 5. And those two teams both still undefeated. So I said it in a video earlier, I think the Big 12 gets 2 1 seeds. I think it's going to be Arizona. And I think whoever challenges them for second place or who maybe passes them for first, I think those will be 2 1 seeds that you get out of this conference. And this could be a huge game come Selection Sunday when there's a battle between, because I think basically how this plays out from this point on, Duke's going to not run the table in the ACC, but they should win the ACC. UConn's going to get really close to running the table, I think, in the Big East, barring any injuries. And so you're going to have those two vying for a 1 seed. You're going to have the Big Ten champ vying for the 1 seed. And I think you're going to get 2 teams out of the Big 12. This game could be huge against Duke, depending on how Texas Tech finishes in the Big 12, and then also who is the team that comes out of the Big 10, and what does that look like, how bad they may have beaten Texas Tech, and if Duke was unable, and Duke obviously was unable to get that win. So could be, honestly, it's a game that doesn't feel like it has huge implications on this year, but when we get down to Selection Sunday, it could be the difference between Duke getting a 1 seed versus getting a 2 seed, because all these games are going to matter. This is great for college basketball. What a fun night. What a fun atmosphere. Hit subscribe, hit like, share the video, hit subscribe to enter your name in the portal. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.